Welcome to the Orange and White Spring Game, presented by Weber Grills. Well, we certainly hope that the weather holds off because, we're always desperate for a little football. Plus, Charlie Strong will put the ones against the ones, and I'm sure all these fans here at DKR want to see what the Texas offense 3.0 looks like. Because it was after that 5-7 season a year ago where Coach Strong set out to find a new coordinator that truly has the up-tempo spread in his DNA. He believes he found that in Sterling Gilbert, former Texas high school quarterback and head coach. With that, hello and welcome. Lowell Galindo here with DBU alum Ahmad Brooks. But we're talking offense, Ahmad, because I love the way that Andrew Beck, the tight end, summed it up for us yesterday, saying that last year they talked about spreading it out. This year, they're actually doing it. What do you want to see?
Well, here's what I want to see. I want to see them come out and utilize their offensive playmakers. I think Sterling Gilbert now has an array of athletes that he can use to operate in this offense. They're going to be much more efficient. They're going to be on time, but can they make plays and produce points? That's the question here today.
Big question, though. Who's going to be the quarterback? In the words of Sterling Gilbert, he's looking for someone that can deliver a predictable outcome. Gerard Hurd, fun to watch a year ago, started majority of the games, out for this one with a shoulder injury. Tyrone Swoops, the bookend starter, lost his job after Notre Dame, got it back for that upset win against Baylor. And Ahmad, we also have a true freshman in the mix.
Well, this kid has ice in his veins. His mental makeup certainly lends me to believe that this young man could come in here and start week one. When you look at what he did in high school, he was a very efficient passer. Look at these numbers here, but he's also got a part of the pedigree, right? Brother played baseball at Oklahoma. Dad was a baseball player, but here go the 94 total touchdowns that I was talking about. Wow. He's a playmaker. It goes back to being able to score points. And when Shane Buechele is in the ball game, you could just see this kid is calm, he's collected. I think he's going to be a fine football player.
And Gilbert told us that at different times in this game, we will see both Swoops and Buechele with the first-team offense. But defense, they got a lot to improve upon as well. A year ago, more yards per game allowed than any Texas defense before it. Where do they go from here?
Well, you've got to find the right guys. You've got to find the guys that are going to be able to tackle, number one, because they had their opportunities last year and were missed. Then you've got to be able to go down to the fundamentals, something they've been working on, taking the appropriate angle, wrapping with your arms. This is a group that continues to work diligently. Hopefully it shows here today on the field.
Major concern, stopping the run. That's something that Charlie Strong wants to see in this game. It's going to be hard with those two big running backs, Chris Warren and D'Onta Foreman. Let's throw it down to Jane Slater, who's with the head coach.
Coach, so many people have been talking about this new offense. As you've seen it take shape in practice, is this what you've envisioned?
It has, and you know what? It's really come together well, and we know this, and we're always looking to tweak it, always looking to make it better. But at the end of the day, it's about fundamentals and technique, and it's about individual improvement for each player.
What are you hoping to realistically see from this offense in the spring game?
Well, you just make sure that anything, we just stay injury-free, but also just make sure that when we go and we just get up and down the field, move the football, and hold on to the football, not turn it over, but create some plays.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Guys, back up to you.
Jane, thank you so much. About to get going here. It's going to be frenetic with the pace of the new look offense. Here's the rules. The first team offense is Team Texas. Second team offense, Team Longhorns. That's how the points will be awarded. They will punt. No returns on that. No kickoffs. And on field goals, no rush. First play, D'Onta Foreman. Breaking into the secondary. Stiff arm and out of bounds. John Bonney forcing him there.
Yeah, the Big 12 should get used to this, seeing 33 run wild, but here you're starting to see the pace. After a big explosive play like that, they're back on the ball, ready to go.
Tyrone Swoops, first-team quarterback. And second play, we've got a whistle, and Ahmad, this was a concern for this Texas team really the past 2 years.
Ball start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Still a little pregame jitters.
They wanted to go fast,
yeah,
right?
I mean, the first time you're able to practice in front of this many people, it's the start of a new season, the first time this team as a whole will be seen. So I know guys, they're a little nervous right now, but he'll get it together.
That ball read perfectly out on the edge by Chris Boyd.
Yeah, he's really starting to make a name for himself. I think you saw him last year show up at times on special teams, but it looks like he's hovering in that. They're really competing. They believe they've got 3 starting corners here, and he's one of them.
Antoine Davis inching up towards the line to give to D'Onta Foreman, and another flag. Looks like we've got a hold.
Holding. Offense, number 58. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Brandon Hodges called for the hold.
Yeah, it's not the best way to start for this offensive line. Lo, you and I have been out to practice, and it's clear when you're out there watching them, you can see that the chemistry is improved.
Yeah.
And no doubt about it that they finally got guys who are experienced, despite being young, that can actually play.
Foreman once again slips out of a tackle, and it's Sherrod Evans, a great story, coming up to make that tackle.
More broken tackles there for Deontay Foreman. It's up to 238. To compare that, Ricky Williams played here at 225. He's a load to tackle.
3rd and 21. Swoops looking deep. He's got John Burt. In and out. The speedster, usually with the sure hands, was looking at 6 there, but didn't look it in, Ahmad.
Well, I talked about those offensive playmakers. John Burt certainly in the mix there. Ex-wide receiver with track speed. You see him here, those long strides. Ball just hits him right smack in the face mask. He won't live that one down in the film room, that's for sure. But those are the plays that you've got to make. You work so hard to get explosive plays, to score points. You've got to win there.
That is Mr. Big Play there. Have a potential for a lot of that, because on the other side, we'll see Colin Johnson, true freshman from California, with Burt and Johnson out there, big frames, guys that can move. Should provide a lot of excitement for Texas fans. Ryan Newsome back for the opening punt. Again, no returns. And we'll turn it over to the second team offense and Shane Buechele when we return.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is presented by Weber Grills. For more information on the new Weber Q1200 College Edition Texas Longhorn Gas Grill, visit weber.com/QU. And in part by Chevy Silverado, official truck of the Texas Longhorns.
This is the name to know if you're following Texas football. Sterling Gilbert, the new OC, jumped up to the college level at Eastern Illinois, had one of the best offenses in America. Then at Bowling Green for a year as the co-OC, followed Philip Montgomery. He went to Baylor, to Tulsa, hired Gilbert, co-OC with the Golden Hurricane, and now back in the state of Texas. 5th OC for Texas since 2011. Ahmad, can you name them all? I won't put you on the spot.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Let's get to a little offense. Shane Buechele with the opening carry. Listen for it. Listen for it. Did you hear any boos?
No, I don't think you will either. This kid is athletic enough to be able to run those package plays, hold on to the football, and make something happen.
Quick throw to Colin Johnson, true freshman receiver. We'll be calling his name a lot.
Yeah, did you see it there just now? I mean, that ball was over his head, but at 6'6", maybe the tallest wide receiver to ever play here at the University of Texas.
3rd and short for Buechele in the second team offense. And slipping through traffic is Hot Rod, Roderick Bernard.
I think that was a great sequence of plays. There you see it. It's spread out, but 2 of those runs came right up the middle. This is an offense that's still predicated on running the football in between the tackles.
Bernard's more the guy that's going to bounce it outside. Wide open target. It's Dorian Leonard. And Buechele moving the second team offense across the 50.
Well, I think even when you saw this young man at Elite 11 when he won the accuracy award, you're starting to see it here. That's one of the most difficult throws for quarterbacks to make when a guy is running straight down the field. He hit it on the money as they continue to go fast pace.
Bernard, talk about fast. This guy has the quick twitch. And that offense now starting to click, so important. You got to move the chains at least once to get that offense really clicking with this kind of tempo. Bernard this time, inching closer to the first down marker.
Now, Roderick Bernard, as you said, he's more that change of pace back. Really mixes it up. When you've got Warren and Foreman back there, your 2 big bruising backs, you bring in a guy that can move laterally, go out and line up as a wide receiver. He's your answer.
Tristan Houston takes his place. Buechele scrambling, wrapped up by Charles Omenihu. Omenihu coming from that strong end position on the Texas defensive line. We got a 4th and 4. It's the spring game. Why not?
Menahu has really turned things on this spring, and he's doing a good job since Bryce Cottrell has left with injury.
Buechele, the keeper. They're going to mark him down short of the first down. So we're trying to limit some of that contact on the quarterback.
It was a great job there by the defense. Really had some pressure put on them, and then you see the way they came back. You make it to a 4th down. Good job there of filling holes. Something that this defense really struggled with last year was gap integrity. Just being in the right gap. Every coach starts the playoff. Vance Bedford, you see the defense coordinator there. Every play starts with you having a responsibility. And there were times last year where the Texas Longhorn football players just weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing and what they were coached to do. So they've really gone back to that. And when you talk about that run defense, here are just a few. Yeah, you heard me say gap control right here. I mean, where's the ball? You've got to go to the football, but then you see another poor angle from these two guys on the edge. Look at the angle they take. The back gets right through them. Poor angles all across the board. And then here, once again, not getting off blocks appropriately, and then you throw just a wing out of there. You've got to be able to drive your feet and get into a ball carrier to drag them down. That's what this defense has been working on. And a lot of it had to do with youth, tackling at this level, getting used to this level. But I think that's some strides that this defense under Charlie Strong and Vance Bedford have made during the spring.
Buechele back in the game now with the first-team offense. On first down was looking for John Burt. Unfortunately, Burt was not looking for the football, and there is Chris Warren just dragging tacklers along for the ride.
Yeah, great awareness on the part of the defense, because when you've got big bruising backs like this that are fighting for extra yards, sometimes they lose track of the football. The defense, they're trying to rake it out.
First down pickup for Warren, and there he goes again. You know, talking to the players yesterday, they said, watch out. If he slips through any sliver of light and gets those knees going high, it could be good night. That is breakout game against Texas Tech. Most yards rushing by a Texas true freshman, as Ramonte Foreman is able to convert the first down once again. Seeing some sloppy tackling right now, Ahmad?
Yeah, that particular time, you know, but this offense, once again, is predicated on putting players out in space, making it harder on defenders. The hardest tackle in football is an open field. And so they take advantage of that by making sure they can get on those quick passes.
We have a jump. It's Kent Perkins, got a little ahead of himself.
False start. Offense. Number 56. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Check that. That's on the true freshman center, Zach Shackelford from Belton High School. Early enrollee. Should still be in high school. Yet there he is playing that center spot. Buechele, another keep. They're going to mark this one down short. And credit to Marco Boyd with the tackle. You look at the O-line, Gilbert says this is the youngest group he's been around in coaching.
Well, I mean, it's clear. 3 sophomores, a freshman, and Kent Perkins, the lonely senior. But these are guys that have played a lot outside of Zach Shackelford, and I'm told he's one of the nastiest of the bunch.
Another deep shot for Bird, and there is Sherrod Evans running step for step. He has missed significant time with 2 major knee injuries. Great to see him back out here. 6th year of eligibility. Charlie Strong says this is a guy that's seen so much. You can rely on him to be one of those senior leaders who approaches the game the right way, bringing the teammates along for the ride. Buechele looking left side, in and out of the hands of Ja'Cory Warwick on 3rd and 12.
Yeah, misfired there, and which is very unusual for Buechele. One thing that sets him apart, I think, from other quarterbacks is the way that he sets his feet in his base. Here it seemed like it was just a tad bit busy and wasn't really fully into his throw, though he can make that throw. But I think sometimes the jitter, that time clock in your head as a quarterback goes off, makes you think you need to throw it a little sooner. Clearly had time there to get the ball off in time and just misfired.
Here's another 4th down opportunity. 4th and 12. Buechele pressured, and Brecken Hager getting into the festivities, forcing that throw. So Buechele, back-to-back drives that have ended on a 4th down attempt without a conversion. We'll turn it back over to Tyrone Swoops when we return. No score at the orange and white spring game. It's now time to welcome in Emmanuel Acho, who hosted the UT Fashion Show a night ago.
Nice.
Now with the man whose definition of fashion is a mock turtleneck and Birkenstocks, Charlie Strong.
Hey, I'm here with Coach Strong. Coach, with the atmosphere like this, what does it do to the players on a day like today?
Well, you know, what's really great is they just realized the fan support and the passion that our fans have, and they're so excited to have them out and give them a chance to just watch them go out and play.
Are you pleased with what you've seen so far?
Well, I am, and you know, we had some drop balls, and we need to just catch the football and can't get beat on a double move by the defensive back. You know, he got beat early, but we just got to catch the football because the quarterbacks are putting the balls there. We just got to make sure we catch them.
You got it.
We saw Tyrone Swoops on the opening drive put a ball on the money to John Burton.
And I'm going to tell
Simply
Charlie you were making fun of his fashion
Oh,
statement, by
he
the way.
knows. He knows.
I will tell.
And it's not just Birkenstocks. It's socks with the Birkenstocks. Got to make it your own. Tyrone Swoops now in with the second team offensive line. What do you think of this rotation we're getting? Bouchel out, 2 drives in a row, and now Swoops getting a shot with the second team in.
Well, I think from everything you've read, from what you've heard from the coaches, it's a 2-man race, so it doesn't surprise me to see these 2 guys.
Swoops held up for a short game.
And that's where he really made a difference a season ago with 12 rushing touchdowns and the power that he showed in the 18-wheeler package. The ability to convert on 3rd and short or in the goal line inside of the 5. Tyrone Swoops last year was just fantastic in his feature package.
3rd and 4. Oh, we got some contact. Nashawn Hughes flying in. As well as Anthony Wheeler. Vance Bedford really raved about Anthony Wheeler, what he's brought to this Texas defense, especially in that situation against the run.
I've been impressed. I mean, I think coming out of the Dallas area, it was clear that you knew this young man would come downhill, plug up holes, and was very forceful with his tackles. But he's matured now over this spring to be able to do it at this level of football. And in my opinion, I think has taken charge of the middle linebacker position.
14 tackles the last 2 games of the season for Anthony Wheeler. Michael Dixon to punt it off. Ryan Newsome with a catch inside the 1. So we talked about the defense here. Got to figure this out with the rush defense. Charlie Strong says area of concern is the defensive line. They need more talent. They need more depth. An extremely young group, 17 true freshmen earned playing time with the D a season ago. Ahmad, 10 combined to start 72 games.
That's amazing.
And that's the man right there, freshman All-American Malik Jefferson.
Well, it's all on his back now. I think this defense goes as he goes. Malik Jefferson, one of the top playmakers in the nation, not just on this ball club. And Vance Bedford understands that he likes to come off the edge and blitz. And you just talked about Malik. Because of the development now of Anthony Wheeler in the middle, you can now put Malik Jefferson more at a natural position where he's blitzing off the edge, creating pressure, wreaking havoc in an opposing team's backfield.
So we got Swoops coming back with the first team offense, going up against the second team defense. His drive starting at the 20-yard line. Deontay Foreman coming out running hard.
I can tell you right now, it's nearly impossible to bring this guy down with a solo tackle. You see him there, touch, that's 1. Coming back here, another opportunity, arm tackles. 3 guys there missed on that particular play because he tried to tackle him with wings.
12 yards for Deontay Foreman, right back to him. And Deontay Foreman missed the end of the season, the hand injury, back-to-back seasons, and he's missed the final action because of injuries to his hand. But when healthy, look out. And it's Chris Warren and Deontay Foreman coming at you. Swoops dumping it off to Deontay. Good block by Colin Johnson as Foreman then lowers the shoulder.
Great decision there by Swoops. Just a nice check down, and that is where Deontay Foreman is going to have to start taking advantage of those touches, because throughout the course of the season, people are going to know you can't just hand it off to him every time to get this playmaker the football. Great athleticism there to get the catch. Great decision by Swoops.
Warren Jump cut. A good pickup. Second down.
Just what a 1-2 punch. Just, on defense, you're thinking, oh, we've got a relief. Deontay Foreman goes out of the game. Nope. A back 250 comes back into the game with equal playmaking abilities.
And then you got Swoops. He's a big guy as well. And Quincy Vassar getting a little physical there with Tyrone Swoops.
Yeah, you got some pinned-up energy.
Yeah.
You haven't been able to hit these guys but a few times throughout the course of spring ball. And here, just gets outflanked. He knew he wasn't in the right position there, and not the smartest play, but Swoops is a tough guy, as we know.
Blows up Andrew Beck to get to the quarterback. Third down. Swoops. DeAndre McNeil, did he bring it down? Oh, it looks like we got the INT. Antoine Davis stating the case for the early play of the game.
This is what you love about spring game. These are two guys competing for more playing time. Antoine Davis, the cornerback, along with DeAndre McNeil.
He just ripped it away.
That looks like an interception to me. Great concentration and focus. He's in the prime position there, low, hip pocket, and just a great job of following through with the ball, never giving up on the play, and it works out his way.
May have hit the turf, though. May have hit the turf. Looked like DeAndre McNeil was in good position to bring that down with one hand, but Antoine Davis showing him up with the INT.
Welcome back to the Texas football spring game. This play is under review. DeAndre McNeil, Antoine Davis. Watch right here. Looks like that ball actually contacted the ground. We'll get a call here shortly. But what a great effort on the part of both of those players. Antoine Davis in the right location. DeAndre McNeil had a step on him. Just couldn't quite haul it in.
I don't even think they're reviewing it. It's the spring game. They're saying just go for it. Buechele back on the field. This is really impressive with Antoine Davis. We know Kent Perkins has the title of strongest guy on the team with 32 reps or 36 at 225. Second on the team is that guy, Antoine Davis, 32 reps at 225 pounds. That's ridiculous.
That was shocking when I heard that. And it took the fellas a while to determine who the second strongest player was.
False start. Offense. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So another penalty on the offensive line. Let's go down to Jane. Jane, what's going on?
Well, there's no one with more energy on these sidelines than Vance Bedford right now, just going nuts. He was yelling at me from the field saying, no more TV timeouts. Let my guys continue to play. I asked him if he had ever seen Antoine Davis do that in practice, and he shook his head and he said, no. Guys, back to you.
Vance
Never
Bedford
a dull moment
yelling?
with that guy. And to that point, he's been doing this a long time, and it takes that type of energy to be able to connect with these players on a regular basis and have the job that he does.
Kristen Houston bouncing it outside, coming back in, and Deshaun Elliott had the initial contact. I know Deshaun Elliott's one of those guys you certainly do like for the back seven for this Texas team.
Yeah, big third down here, and this team offensively last year struggled in these situations.
Lorenzo Joe with the catch. P.J. Locke bringing him down. That will move the chains. And you mentioned the third down issues, 35%, 100th in the bowl subdivision.
Yeah, it wasn't good. And I think part of it was they didn't have playmakers, as Lorenzo Joe comes up short here for a fourth down situation for the freshman.
Back to Houston. Tim Cole there. But that, I believe, will now move the chains.
Yeah, just a great effort. And another one of those young running backs trying to work his way up the depth chart and become a contributor on this football team.
Well, Houston and Bernard really provide a nice change of pace compared to what the big boys bring you. Buechele, the foreman. And there is Hollywood with the stop. So these running backs really opens a world of possibilities. We talk about the spread all the time. Charlie Strong said when he went out to find Gilbert, want to maintain the physicality that they have.
And they will.
Foreman brings that one down in bounds. There is a flag on the play. Athletic play by the man they call Money. See a little good job, brother, from Deontay.
Holding. Defense, number 5. Penalties decline. Result of the play, first down.
Watch this replay here. just a little handsy there. And, you know, these two corners for Texas are very physical. Holton Hill along with Javonte Davis. You've got to learn to find that balance between being physical and learning how to cover your guy.
Houston met by Tim Cole and Paul Boyette.
And Tim Cole is doing a good job of being a senior leader on this team. And talking to Charlie Strong yesterday, he made a point that he's become one of the more vocal guys on this defense and really trying to hold on to a job, as we know a lot of talented incoming freshmen coming on campus.
Buechele flushed by Omenihu. Throws it away. Like that play by the true freshman?
I do. It shows his awareness. He's alert, you know, and from talking to Sterling Gilbert along to Charlie Strong, they said this kid's a gym rat, you know.
Yeah.
They look up every day. He's in their offices with a new person each and every day, in between classes, in between workouts. And that's the type of player you have to be able to lead this football team, but also make a difference on game days.
The combined offense is 1 of 7 on third down so far. Buechele found daylight to Lorenzo Joe. And Gilbert told us to play inside for this offense, you have to have a great feel in space.
Well, and I can tell you this much. Lorenzo Joe, a former quarterback at Abilene Cooper, has that feel.
The West Texas connection. Gilbert certainly appreciates that.
Yeah, Lorenzo Joe has really come on and really stabilized this inside wide receiver position with his smarts, his size, and his ability to catch the ball away from his body.
So we've seen the ability to have Blewett or Beck in there with a little more size. And the flip from Buechele, like the shortstop turning the double play. He also is a fantastic shortstop as well.
Now, you had to get a baseball analogy in there, and I love it. But watch this kid here. He's an improviser, and he can do these types of things. He's just athletic enough to be elusive back there to give defensive linemen fits. That time there with a very savvy play. Risky play, but a very savvy play.
It worked, right?
Indeed.
Buechele pitched and played shortstop in high school. And you mentioned his work ethic. We're at a 3rd and 7. His high school coach says that he's the guy that picks up the phone and makes sure everybody is at off-season workouts. That's what you're looking for in a quarterback. And everybody liked the spin move, but that one is a tackle for Nashawn Hughes. That's what the whistle was for.
Yeah, you can see Buechele there believes this play should have carried on, and I believe so. I mean, what an excellent spin move there. Very reminiscent of Colt McCoy doing it in a Fiesta Bowl several years ago, where that nice spin move helped him get into the end zone. But sweet feet there out of Buechele. And I'm sure the guys on the opposite side are also talking to Charlie Strong and telling him he made the right call. That's what you get in the spring game.
But we do have a false start, so they get another opportunity. Now 4th and 8. Buechele on this drive, 5 of 6 for 44 yards. Looking for money. He cashes the check. Armonte Foreman with the touchdown.
All right, we didn't know when it was going to happen, but we knew it was going to happen. That is big boy football, and you'll see it here. This pass from Buechele was put in the prime location. Now, this is a fade route on the outside by Money. He recognizes the one-on-one coverage there with Hollywood, Holton Hill. Great job of positioning there by Monty Foreman. You see that last effort to get back outside to the football, and that was a money ball there for 16. Big boy ball, his first touchdown here in DKR Stadium.
I'm still waiting for the boos like they did at Ballpark in Arlington and Arlington Stadium for his pops.
It'll happen.
Buechele as Shane joins the big time. Mitchell Becker on for the extra point. Gets it to go. So you mentioned off the top you want to see playmakers. Burt, Foreman, Joe, how's that sound?
Yeah, I think you've got all the pieces there that you need to be able to operate this offense. Guys that can catch the football, beat guys over the top, smart enough to do it. But the addition here, this is the guy that's been getting all the attention. 6'6", 212 pounds, freshman from San Jose, California. He's got a brother on the team, Kirk Johnson, the son of former great Johnny Johnson. And I'm tell you what, I've seen his catching ratings throughout the spring ball, and right now, I haven't seen him. He catches it low, he catches it high, and if it is a one-on-one situation, good luck to that defensive back.
Gilbert says he is as good when it comes to the ball skills as any player
Indeed.
he's been around. Let's go down to Manny.
Coach, Buechele throws that touchdown pass. You look like you've seen it 1,000 times before. Has he impressed you so far today? If so, how?
Well, he has, and, he made that throw there. We made a catch, but we dropped 2 down here now because we had the first one, Burt drops, and then 6 drops the ball. The 25 ended up pulling it away. But, we're making the long throws. It's just a matter of us making a catch.
Thank you, Coach.
Buechele back out. Now with that first team offensive line. Coming off a drive where he went 6 of 7, 71 yards, stretching it out to Jake Oliver. Leads him just a little too much. You mentioned the spin move. Looked a little bit like Colt. And I know you never want to start comparing true freshmen to guys like VY, Colt. But there have been a lot of comparisons. The way he played in high school, that grit that he carries himself with,
No doubt.
to Colt McCoy.
Well, here's the deal. The facts of the matter are this, that Colt McCoy was a guy who some would believe maybe a little undersized. You could say the same thing about Shane Buechele. But he was also a player that was very accurate, and you'll see him here and throwing these locations. There it is right there. That ball is put on the money. I mean, it's in the prime location. And if you can make throws like that, it doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior, there's a spot for you. And Charlie Strong said yesterday, this young man will play in the fall.
8 yards there to Jake Oliver, and here's your guy, Colin Johnson. Trying to spin out of a tackle from John Bonney. So Colin Johnson, you look at the ESPN 300 rankings. There are 52 receivers ranked higher than Colin Johnson. Part of that, perhaps the fact he committed when his brother did, as Chris Warren is going to waltz into the end zone. High knees and all, Chris Warren, shades of what happened against the boys from Lubbock right here at DKR. 51 yards, and Warren responds.
Woo-wee. That's really all you can say to that. I mean, just the power right up the middle of the field, a few missed tackles. But I'll be honest with you, I think that's from him wearing down this defense all throughout spring. Because when you try to hit this guy, it's like you bounce off. I mean, at 250, great balance and body control at that size. And then he doesn't have breakaway speed, but he's fast enough to punch one in the end zone, like you said, at Texas Tech, and here today showing it once again.
I made the mistake last year before the breakout game against Texas Tech of describing him more as a plotter. I take that one back.
Eat crow.
Take that one back. Chris Warren, last season, 71 carries, 470 yards, and most of that damage done in the final 2 games were back-to-back. He goes for more than 100 against Texas Tech and against the Baylor Bears. He's got the bloodlines. His pop's one of the best we've seen in the Seattle Seahawks unit.
And despite not even playing a whole lot, you see his numbers here. He was just 20 yards short of Jonathan Gray a season ago in limited reps. That just goes to show you with over 6 yards a carry. He's a man, and I'm going to tell you what, the Big 12 will know his name. And also, Sean Oakman, the defensive end there for Baylor, said this was the toughest player he played against last year. That quote is on record. Here's a guy that was only making his second start. Chris Warren has stardom written all over him.
And what we haven't seen yet is Warren, Foreman going back-to-back because Warren got most of his carries when Foreman went down a season ago.
Going to be a deadly 1-2 punch.
Buckle the chin strap.
No doubt.
And we got a pretty good running back in our group here at Longhorn Network. He's got a statue. His name is Ricky Williams. He's going to join us in the 3rd quarter.
Okay.
Talk a little bit about these bruisers. Foreman turns it upfield. Holton Hill there on the tackle. As Tyrone Swoops put it on him. First down. Minute 24 left to go in the 1st quarter. Houston brought down by Anthony Wheeler.
Good job there by the defense of getting set. Oftentimes when this offense gets to rolling so fast, hard to get to your assignment, get the correct alignment, and then finish the play. They did it there.
Bedford's talked a lot about how they simplified what they do defensively as Elliott jumped that pass to make sure that they're disguising looks. They're giving the offense different looks where it looks like a lot is going on, but at the core, it's just maybe a player shifting here or there to just make it look complicated.
You've got to try to dictate offenses nowadays because they do so many formations and things to confuse you.
Swoops. Wanted the deep one. P.J. Locke there to contest that. On its way to Lorenzo Joe. P.J. Locke, he's been one of those standouts as well in the spring camp.
Well, watch the coverage here. You heard me earlier with Antoine Davis being in the hip pocket. Great timing in terms of turning his eyes around. And I will say this about Lorenzo Joe. He mistimed his jump, or he'd had a better opportunity at that football. But P.J. Locke has really come on. He's developing there at the nickelback position. Looks like he may be the first guy to step out on the field come Notre Dame. But he's really developing also as a safety as well, a guy that likes to hit and showing also that he can cover.
And you're so deep in the back seven.
You're so right.
Bedford says that's our strength. We got to
Indeed.
play to the strength. You have so many guys that could fill the nickel spots, the corner spots.
Young and talented.
Safeties as well.
Absolutely.
And there's more on their way. This recruiting class, 10th ranked nationally as well. Well, Ahmad, I've joined you, right?
Yeah.
You left Texas game day. Don't do it anymore, and now you're kind of taking me along with you. Texas Game Day Final, powered by Chevy Silverado, was following the game, and we're not on it. But I'll tell you who is. Alex Lowe. He's going to go out and he's going to do his thing.
Yes,
He's
will.
hanging out with Ricky Williams, David Thomas, Manny Accio. Pretty good crew there, right? You still watch us?
What do you mean, man? It's appointment viewing for me.
No,
Of course
it's
I
not.
do. Yeah.
Forgot
I've got to
all
be able to
about
make
us.
fun of Ricky. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. It's an easy target. I mean, all the fumbles, right? We genuinely have fun doing something
No
that
doubt
we
about
love.
it. Indeed.
Talking football, specifically Texas football. So Swoops on that last drive. Punts it away, but he gets another shot. So it looks like Gilbert's trying to give these quarterbacks more opportunities to try to sustain some drives, get reps consecutively.
Well, how else do you find whether a quarterback can find his rhythm with multiple series? And you've got to try it out here, an environment that is close to the game as they'll see before Notre Dame rolls in here on Sunday.
And we just saw Gilbert there on the sideline. And that's not just for the spring game. That's where he is comfortable calling his plays from.
Which is
Everything
very
coordinated with hand signals. That's the way they call it. Very simple approach.
You know what? And I think the reason why he's there is because of his personality. He's got to be close to the action. But when you talk to him, too, it's about getting a feel and a sense for his players, and it's hard to do that when you're in the booth. You want to be able to talk to your quarterbacks and be able to look them in the eye.
3rd and 10. Foreman brought down. When you talk about the feel for your players, he said when he arrived, he honestly told everybody that was here, don't tell me anything about the guys I'm inheriting on offense. I want a clean slate.
Well,
Don't figure out who can play and who can't.
You're right. And if you're a player, you love that because now we've got an opportunity to compete and impress our new coach. And I think the players have taken that opportunity to try to move up and down that depth chart.
And the clock hits 0. First quarter coming to an end. Charlie Strong took a little while for the offense to warm up, but Buechele hit money, and Chris Warren started to rumble. 7-7 after 1. Welcome back to the Orange and White Spring Game presented by Weber Grills. 7-7. But you need to note, when you look at the score, it can be a little deceiving in the spring. After all, Shane Buechele was the quarterback that led both of these touchdown drives. Second quarter just starting up with Texas getting ready to punt it away. Again, in this format, no returns. Just want to see the guys stretch out the legs a little bit. Mitchell Becker with the delivery. Hey, remember that Burt drop? Could have been a touchdown.
Of course.
This is how it sounded with Charlie Strong.
Oh, Bird, come here, catch that, come on. Let's go, Bird. What you doing, Salt Lake? Huh? Come on. That's a touchdown.
And that's some of that positivity that we're seeing more and more from this Texas offense. I mean, Malik Jefferson even pointed out how much better the chemistry is with this group offensively.
Yeah, and some people will tell you that doesn't go a long way in winning ball games. I'm here to tell you that that's a lie. Because here's the end of the day. If you have respect for your coaches, y'all all are on the same page, including the players and the coaches, it really does help the product. And it's a lot easier to dig deep when you're on the road, especially to be able to play for your guys.
Bernard with the carry, hit immediately by Malik Jefferson. Shell back in at quarterback, 12 of 18, 134 yards and a touchdown. We mentioned we knew the Texas was going to be able to run the football this year. Also concerns about stopping the run. I don't know how you spin this when Foreman and Warren have combined to tote the rock 9 times for 124 yards. That's really good if you're the Texas offense. I'm not sure Bedford likes it. Vaccaro, what did Bedford call him yesterday?
I don't remember.
The missile.
Well, he looked like one on that play. His tackling form is great. For his size, and you saw him there, he drug down the ball carrier on initial contact. And I remember when he got an opportunity to play here last year in this stadium, he was all over the football, wreaking havoc, causing fumbles.
Third down, looking for Andrew Beck. Malik Jefferson there to break that one up. And you just look at the versatility once again with this defense. We saw Vaccaro out there at safety, Locke playing the nickel, and then you had Bonnie, who we saw playing the nickel a lot last season, back at safety as well.
And keep in mind, Dylan Haynes and Jason Hall, your starters, aren't even here. And so, I mean, when you talk about the depth of that defensive back room, it is plentiful. And now it's just a matter of those guys understanding, look, we can do more together. And if they're not individuals and they start working together and understand everybody's a starter in that room or talented enough to be, I think the sky's the limit for that group.
Mitchell Becker skying it to Ryan Newsom. Right inside the 20. And here's that depth that we're speaking about and preaching on. Quality all around. Devontae Davis, you saw a really impressive moment that said a lot to you in one of the practices that we attended when he got beat on a play, hung his head, but you saw the way he came back from that moment.
Yeah, he was vicious. And one guy missing here, if you're watching at home, is Deshaun Elliott, who's gotten a lot of reps here today and has certainly played a lot in the absence of Hall, along with Dylan Haynes. You see it there, thanks to team. But, yeah, this is a group that is very, very deep. And Devontae Davis is really starting to take over as one of the leaders in that group.
Yeah. Because
of his coverage abilities, he's very mild-mannered, doesn't say a whole lot, but he's got enough talent to fill up this stadium. Hopefully now he just continues to work and progress. But this young man can be a special football player.
Bedford says he's one of the more consistent players in that secondary. Buechele working deep to Foreman. A nice play there as Chris Boyd just sticks up a paw to bat that one down.
Oh, great recovery, and that length really showing the importance of it here. I mean, you watch him here, he's probably a step behind Foreman, but just a great job and great awareness, great ball hawking skills, great to readjust there and to get back into the play.
Petey Warwick cuts it upfield. Out of bounds, but close to the marker. They'll say, bring him on down, first down. Shane Buechele starting to go quick. And Breck Hager there with the TFL. Manny.
Coach, the tempo of this offense, is this about what you expected to see?
Well, you know, we're kind of vanilla today, but we go a lot faster than this.
How's this helping the defense?
Oh, the defense got to get a lane, so it's you know, right now they're both playing both sides, so it's a more coverage. There goes a good one right there. Go get it. You see one right there.
The talking to pays off, Ahmad.
Yes, it did. And you heard the wire there, the demeanor, though. Charlie knew he was going to get another opportunity, and so did Burke here. Excellent throw thrown in right in his breadbasket, but not to mention Burke really showing why he was so good a year ago as a freshman.
41 yards on the pitch and catch from Buechele to John Burke. Started all 12 games last season, and That's what he was. From the first time we saw him out here at DKR, provided those big plays.
And that's why this offense really highlights these skills. He's a hurdler, came out to Texas Relays, ran a 14-1, which is incredible after not training.
Ball batted down, and we're seeing the athleticism from the offensive line. Look at that. Connor Williams bringing it down.
And now, if we zoom in, there's the biggest smile you see Vahe
You
there.
can see it from up here.
Having a good time. And speaking of that, you know, the mood was so different. It's good to see these guys smiling, but they talked about that they're having so much fun in this offense.
Yeah.
And it's starting to show. Guys there, you know, joking around with your buddies, and it's a lot easier when you think you're going to come out here and be productive and perform well.
Especially the O-line. Vance Bedford even pointed out, those big boys are having fun. And when the big boys have fun, the entire team has fun.
Yeah, just watch this here. I mean, just a batted down ball. Whoa, he even attacks it at his highest point. They're trying to push the pile. You see his other offensive linemen who are jealous, still trying to push, though.
Look at that smile. Love it. And Connor Williams.
Good stuff.
He was just going for the jump ball there.
Yeah, no
High school
doubt.
basketball star as well.
Yeah, he's telling his buddies now, you see the work I just put in, guys? You see that? That's how it's done.
All right, got
Maybe
our
not.
first field goal attempt of the game. And this is a big storyline here. No more Nick Rose. They're looking for consistency at the position. Evan Moore, John Coppins in competition with this man right here, Mitchell Becker. And that's not the start that anybody is looking for with the special teams. We're taking a break, and we'll return with more from the second quarter of the Orange and White Spring Game. He still technically could be in high school, but Shane Buechele, forget the prom, when you can steal the show at the Orange and White Spring Game.
Nice.
Is Buechele doing that, Ahmad?
And he's the real deal. And I think his teammates have already seen that with the way that he's come in. He's put his head down and he's worked. But he's also led this team, and that's very rare for a guy who you just said who should be getting ready to go to prom. And then you see the physical talent here, the accuracy, the mobility, all the things that you need to walk into this stadium and perform well. He's got them.
There's the comparison. Buechele, 15 of 24, 183 yards and a touchdown. Gilbert told high school coaches at the recent Texas Football High School Coaches Clinic that his offense needs a genuine, certified, bad blank at quarterback. Would you say, without filling in the blank, that he's fitting that bill?
I think so. And you know, and he's done it. He's doing it, too, at a very young age on this level. And, yes, he hasn't played a game. I mean, we understand that. But what he's been able to do, he's done as much as he can in spring ball.
Oh, look at that. Bernard getting slippery when it looked like Paul Boyette had a chance with a tackle for loss. So you want to go fast? This is pretty fast. Time between plays when it's Buechele in there, just under 11 seconds, just under 14 with Tyrone Swoops. Keep in mind, over the past 2 seasons, the only offenses in college football to go at a faster clip than the ones co-coordinated by Sterling Gilbert were the ones up the road in Waco, Texas with Art Briles. And that's where he learned this devastating effect of tempo from. He said he started picking it up when he was the OC at Temple High School in 2011 when Baylor really started to crank that tempo up.
And the effects that it has on defense. You know, even you saw that 3-second difference between Shane Buechele and Tyrone Swoops. That's 3 seconds you don't have when Shane's in the game to align yourself, to get ready, to get the call from the sideline. The faster, the better, get into the right play. And you're right, the efficiency of this offense is really taking the college football by storm.
And it makes you more vanilla defensively and what you can do?
Absolutely. You don't have enough time to stunt and to do some of the things that you want to unless they give you that time.
Let's go catch up with Jane Slater. How's the weather look down there, Jane?
Well, you know what? We've done pretty good so far, but it looks like the rain is beginning to come down here, and it is making the field conditions a little bit more slippery. It's not a heavy rain right now. It's still kind of a drizzle, but it is coming down just enough to get everybody up here in the stands to start bringing out the umbrellas and the ponchos. And as I said, it is making it for slippery conditions on the football field, guys.
So are you going with the poncho or the umbrella? Or both, Jane?
Going with the poncho, guys.
With the poncho.
I'm going to tough this one out.
Out of the way, Jane. Ahmad would have had someone hold his umbrella for him.
No, that's you. Everybody does that.
Can't run away from that one. Just got to take it. Here's Tyrone Swoops to Petey Warwick. Spinning and cutting until Chris Boyd brings him down just shy of the 40-yard line.
Tyrone Swoops has the tools to be a quarterback. You see him here just really fire that ball into a tight and closed window. And I got to give Warwick credit. He knew the pressure was coming, but he still managed to make the catch.
In and out for Monty Foreman.
And Warwick is that guy that's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
He's just hard to cover. And if you can get him to run outside or inside of leverage, he's going to give some defenders fits.
And remember, when he signed, his high school coach said, you clock him in the 40, and you're not that impressed.
No.
But he's football fast.
He's quick. And I wasn't fast to play at this level. And I played with a wide receiver here, Kwame Cavill, who wasn't going to light up, at the 40 time. But, boy, trying to cover him. It was a task. And so you don't necessarily need that foot speed as long as you've got the timing and the hands to be able to make plays.
Oh, nice cut for Chris Warren. Head of steam. Who's going to get in front of him? Deshaun Elliott, the sheriff, as Vance Bedford refers to him, decides to do that.
Well, I know he's not scared, but I guess I also know that he's aware that Chris Warren is just a load. And he's got, the ability to step over, leap over defenders, and he's just powerful and capable of pushing piles and pushing over defenders.
6 carries, 101 yards
Wow.
for Chris Warren III. The breakaway touchdown as well. Malik Jefferson said there's a moment he's not going to forget in one of the scrimmages leading up to this game that he was in the open field with 4 defenders trying to hold on to him, and he carried them all into the end zone.
What do you say to that?
Better luck next time. Deontay Foreman with the carry. Connor Huffman tried to bring him down. They keep coming at you in waves. Gilbert told us the beautiful thing about having big running backs is Foreman strides in. 1, you don't like to tackle big running backs. 2, you really don't like to tackle big running backs when you get tired. And right now, Deontay Foreman and Chris Warren III wearing out their counterparts on the Texas defense.
Man, that is just a double-edged sword there when you've got those 2 backs. And like I said earlier, just about the time you think you get some relief, one of them comes to the field, another monster comes out here. And the pace of that offense there really showed you why this offense can be effective. Yeah. They went so fast, the defense wasn't even lined up. And you're going to always have an edge if the defense doesn't know what to do and they don't know where to be. And if they don't have time to get there, you're going to see plays like this and series like this throughout the course of the season for the Longhorns.
It also shows you it's an offense that's predicated not just on tempo, but balance.
No question about it.
It's easy to be balanced when you have running backs like Deontay Foreman and Chris Warren. Warren with the setup, the physicality. And Deontay Foreman comes in to close it out. End zone for Deontay. Just give it to the big running backs. Texas has done that with Chris Warren III and Deontay Foreman combining for 170 rushing yards with a touchdown apiece. It's 14-7 Texas over Team Longhorn. And yes, Charlie Strong is mic'd up.
Hey,
what?
get an interception. Quit down jumping
Don't worry
around.
about me. Don't worry about me.
Drop the interception right here.
I ain't touch it. I ain't trying to catch it. I knocked it down. Watch your mind business.
Then let me tell you, why would you knock it down?
Oh, you mic'd up?
Why would you knock it down?
You mic'd up?
No.
Yeah, you are.
Why would you knock
Shout
it
out
down?
to everybody listening.
Having a good time with it.
Oh, man. In that DB room, look, there are a lot of personalities, but this young man, Chris Boyd, has one of the more overwhelming personalities when you meet him, and you saw him there with a good conversation there with Charlie.
Bouchel pump fake, wide open to Colin Johnson, and he steps out of bounds. Colin Johnson looked like he's going to have his 4th completion of the game. Well, they're going to take this one back. Now looking at a 2nd and 10 for Shane Bouchel.
I'm not sure what negated that play, but I know that was good timing there out of the 2 incoming freshmen.
Quick screen to Leonard. And right away, Devontae Davis is there with a handful of that number 8 jersey.
Another big, long, tall ex-wide receiver in Dorian Leonard, East Texas product, who has really been challenged by Colin Johnson coming in, and he's really stepped up, and I believe he's improved his game.
But it's been a good camp for Leonard. At this point last season, that ball is overthrown to McNeil. Leonard was really struggling with just catching the football, plain and simple, but it looks like he's gotten beyond that and has started making some of those plays throughout the course of this spring camp. Bouchel was looking for DeAndre McNeil with that throw. There's Ryan Newsome. It'll be interesting to see what Newsome brings at punt return. If he's got some of that Dejae Johnson wiggle to him, we'll definitely know that he is one of the quicker, more athletic players here on this Texas roster. But the running backs, I think Ricky is going to have some fun joining us in the third quarter. Here's why.
Oh, man. I mean, just broken tackle after broken tackle. And D'Onta Foreman has some of the best vision here on the team. Once again, right up the middle. These plays, they're not ducking and dodging these defensive linemen. They're running it right down their throat. And then when you think you've had enough of Foreman, here in comes this guy. And oh, my. I mean, just the outstanding stiff arm, about almost the same place where he gave it to Texas Tech. But Warren, just a load at 250 pounds, very patient runner who's got an inclination on every play to go north and south. This kid doesn't know east and west, though. He's got the capabilities. But, boy, I mean, look at the numbers here from both of these backs, averaging over 8 yards a carry for both of them. What an outstanding start for them.
Quarterback's dream, defensive coordinator's nightmare.
Yeah, well said.
Foreman again tiptoeing. They're going to say tiptoed out of bounds. Foreman trying to make a living right over there on that sideline. Brought one down earlier in the game. Let's see.
Now here's the DB in me right there. Looked like there was some contact. You've got to catch that ball, though. And if you're Caden Farisha, pardon me, the DB there, what you're thinking is, oh, man, get your hands off of me, right? Foreman knows, though, he's got to make that play. He's got to stay in bounds. The quarterback is looking for you.
Ring around the rosy for D'Onta Foreman. Ends up picking up yards on the play.
Yeah, he's just a nightmare. Just about the time that you think he's going to run you over, he'll run by you. He's been clocked under 4.4 before.
Unfair.
Yeah.
3rd and 6 overthrown to Armonte Foreman. So 3rd downs. Now 4 of 18 for this Texas offense, first and second team combined on 3rd downs. Which you could say, more problems for the Texas offense, but at the same time, the Texas defense on 3rd downs a year ago, allowing 44%, which was 105 nationally.
That comes down to playmakers. Which guy in those situations are going to beat one-on-one coverage? Mark Henry here. Obviously, the famous wrestler on the sideline chatting it up with Charlie Strong. But who's going to be the guy? Who's going to step up and leave a legacy? Who's going to be the one to answer the call? And as we're watching special teams here, I really do think that the special teams unit, because of this incoming freshman class, is going to be much more improved in its coverage ability and also perhaps their ability to get quality returns.
And the coaches won't say that special teams lost them games, but they were definitely involved in those moments that you remember and the close losses a year ago. Hard to find a guy that blends discipline with engaging with his players like Charlie Strong. Team Texas up 14-7 over Team Longhorns here at the Orange and White Spring Game. This is what I'm talking about. Listen and watch Charlie in action.
A while ago, the quarterback got outside, did he not, and threw it away? Whoa, what? What? I was at you. What? You ain't got no sack. Well, you got beat on a double move, the weakest move in football. And the guy stopped and turned, and you were.
All right, if you stop and turn, that means I could be coming up.
You ain't had no shot. They ain't even pass you.
Certainly helps with the team chemistry, doesn't it, Jane?
You know, it has been really remarkable to watch Charlie Strong's interactions with his players. You and I saw this on signing day. He had the guys in the room as they were bringing in those LOIs, the guys celebrating, feeling like they had a part of it, that they were part of this team. Charlie Strong says his relationship with his players are really important. He knows the expectations that come with playing at the University of Texas, and he says he wants those guys to feel at home and feel like they have a good relationship with their head coach. It's so good that Patrick Vahe comes over to his house and he says he just kicks up his feet, lays on the couch, and snuggles up in a blanket and makes himself at home. That's the sort of relationship Strong has with some of his players, guys.
Swoops, stretching it out to Petey Warwick. Down to the 35. Swoops with his best throw of the afternoon, 45 yards to Warwick.
Yeah, I know Texas fans are really hoping that Warwick finally hits the right switch so he can produce like that on Saturdays.
Tim Cole.
Great catch.
Meeting Houston close to the line.
You know, and back to James' report about Charlie Strong and the culture that he's creating here of, you know, if it's just being very loose and the players being able, an open door policy. From speaking to the players, they really do enjoy that, and they feel that he's genuine in his approach and that he really does care about them. That's very important.
The ball thrown behind Petey Warwick. And once you get to know Coach Strong, I mean, the looks can be deceiving. He comes across as a guy that you think is just no nonsense. It's all business all the time. He's a funny guy. And
certainly has a sense of humor.
He'll give it to you, but you're more than welcome to give it to back to him as well. He does have a very good sense of humor, and he can dish it out, but he can take it as well.
Well, you've seen that in his interaction, obviously, with his players. And I'd have to disagree with the standout safety there, Charlie Strong from Central Arkansas, talking about how easy it was to defend the double move. As a safety, he never defended the double move. So, but I will say, I'll be in Devontae's corner on that one. One of the harder routes to cover, especially if you've got a guy that runs it right.
Fourth down. Houston is going to be stopped short. Amenahu on the tackle.
I love the mindset there from the defensive line. They obviously knew that that was an opportunity for them to stop the run.
Yeah.
And I believe Charlie kept them on the field there to put them in that situation. There were times last year where this defense would do all that it needed during the series, and then all of a sudden you give up that play.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, here are some guys that are starting to try to develop. The help is on its way with this 2016 incoming freshman class, but there's some guys here that I think will still be playing on Saturdays.
And Coach Strong says they need that help. Both lines, offensive and defensive. But really, with that D-line, they're going to get some of that help. 7 defensive linemen in this most recent signing class. Here's Manny.
Here with Coach Strong, obviously. Coach, everybody talks about the pass game, the spread offensive attack, but how much is this benefiting the running backs?
Well, you know, you see us make the big runs, and maybe when you open it up and you can throw the ball, and then you're able to open the running game because you see the big runs out here right now because you spread people out and you create mismatches inside. Sometimes you have to have a backer walk out, end up with a one linebacker defense, but it creates it, but just because of how you spread people out and the mismatches are there.
Thanks, Coach.
And Lamont, it's not just the spread that gives you the mismatch. It's the size, especially that Texas brings, because we've seen more and more recently in the Big 12, defenses are going smaller and faster to try to keep up with some of these spreads. Those little guys don't like stepping in front of guys like Warren and Foreman. They're more used to guys like that, a Roderick Bernard at running back.
He's stronger than the smaller guys, and he's faster than the big guys. And the problem is the big guys can't catch him. Smaller guys can only hit this guy 10 to 12 times a game without, being carried off on a stretcher. He's physical. He runs that way. And when we asked him yesterday if he had anyone he'd compare his game to, this goes to show you and take you into his head, the mindset. He said, if I could compare my game to anybody, it'd be like beast mode. Marshawn Lynch.
Wow.
He believes that he wants to take the pain to defenders, and that's something that this young man in his short career has done.
Zach Shackelford drawing the penalty. So Texas survived last season with the true freshman at left tackle and right guard. Those guys are now true sophomores, and you have a true freshman in Shaq. I mean, it's his spot. That's his spot to lose as the starting center.
I tell you what I love when you talk about center, Shackelford here, number 56, is the way that the older players describe him, Kent Perkins, who we got a chance to sit down and talk to yesterday, said he came in, he listened to everybody.
That was huge, yeah.
When you give a freshman, as a senior especially, when you say, hey, I'm giving you a part of my game so that it can make you better, so it can improve the whole team, and he takes it and he's taking notes and he's watching and he's out there actually trying to apply it to the field, you've won the respect of all your teammates. And so he's got the talent, but now it's those small things that I think he's adding to the chemistry of this offensive line.
Perkins also said Shackelford always wants to be first. He's at the front of the line
cool.
in everything they do. Really says a lot about him. He was a sleeper with this recruiting class for Texas. They tried to get him away from Kansas State, and they did, which is impressive because Bill Snyder went and visited him in Belton.
Oh,
he
man.
never jumps on a plane anymore to visit guys, so it says a lot about Zach Shackelford and his talents. Well, we got 5 new assistant coaches. Let's get to know them as we stuck a mic on them leading up to this Texas spring game.
Hey, don't think because I got this mic on, I ain't going to chew that behind.
Slinging around today now. All right, ball's up and away.
I asked Jason, was he trying to be the punter? You were trying to be the kicker, right?
You feel those top 2 abs I got?
Ball. Be fast with your feet. Good, Swoopsy.
Here we go, we rolling. Go score! Go score! Yeah!
Maude, we're looking at 5 new assistant coaches here, one of which you played with, and Anthony Johnson, running backs coach under Sterling Gilbert here with his new look Texas offense.
I'll say this. It's hard when you have that type of overhaul. And the one thing that it disrupts the most is the chemistry between a coach and a player. And so now you've got to start back over again and build a relationship. And the personalities that Charlie Strong has brought in, they all are very energetic, very understanding. And I think that's going to go a long way in this group gelling together a lot sooner and a lot faster. But you look at their resumes, they all deserve a job like this. And so now it's just taking advantage of an opportunity and coming here and really helping these players develop and grow.
I like what Kim Perkins had to say about Coach Maddox on the offensive line. It says a lot when he told us, we play for him. We play for him.
That's the ultimate sign of respect for your coach. When you say, while I'm out on the field, I'm thinking about my coach and how much he wants me to succeed. That's what it's all about at this level.
Paul Boyette standing him up with a little help from Anthony Wheeler. You can hear Coach Strong chirping down on the sidelines. That's his go-to move. He loves the whistle twirl. Anytime you see him out of practice, he's working that whistle.
And he's also seeming much more comfortable in his role here as the head coach at the University of Texas. Prior to the game, seeing the letterman out on the field and him interacting with them. I think it's easier for Charlie because he knows that 2015 class is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And this incoming 2016 class is also going to try to help get this program back to where it needs to be.
Leonard slips. Holton Hill, perhaps thinking pick 6 there, couldn't react in time. Brings up 2nd down and 10. We saw Boyette involved in that previous play. His wife, Amani Boyette, recently the number 10 overall pick in the WNBA draft.
She had a phenomenal year.
Leonard looked like he had that, but Holton Hill there to strip it away. Well, we've got a flag down, looks like a hold call coming up.
And to your earlier point about Leonard, these are the plays you've got to make. He's got enough reps now as a veteran player on this roster to be able to make a difference.
Yeah.
And those are the plays in those situations.
Penalties decline, 3rd down.
When your quarterback needs you, I mean, this ball's put on the money. Shane Buechele doing a great job of stepping into that pocket, and he put it right on. Now, Hollywood, Holton Hill, number 5, was there with great coverage, but that's a catch that you've got to make if you're Dorian Leonard.
Jefferson comes to the line, backs off. Amenahu with the whiff. A little ad-lib looking for McNeil. Too high.
Now that was nice.
The
presence of feeling it there. And the hardest part about that play is that was his backside. So you really almost got to have eyes in the back of your head here to be able to make a move like that, to know you've got the space, set his feet, was able to throw the ball downfield. DeAndre McNeil, unfortunately, just couldn't haul it in. But those are the types of plays that this young man has shown throughout spring to really impress his coaching staff along with his teammates.
That's an opposing figure coming off the edge, Charles Omenihu, 6'6", 262. He's really bulked up, put on about 20 pounds since the end of last season. And they're looking for about 10 more, at least, on that frame. We got the Texas-Kansas baseball series finale. It's going to conclude later this afternoon. You can see it right here. 4:30 Central. We'll bring you that game live from the dish. Played a doubleheader a day ago. Teams split that. Got a little dicey late in that Game 2 win for Texas, but they were able to hold off the Jayhawks. See if they can win the series today at 4:30 Central Time. Augie and the fellas coming off the series win against the Kansas State Wildcats. So the Big 12, one of the more entertaining football conferences. We'll see. TCU has been one of the more entertaining offenses, but they got to replace Trevon Boykin. So here we go again. Kenny Hill, Kenny Trill, if you will,
Indeed.
in competition for that job. Foster Sawyer, I believe that's a fake name. That can't be a real name. John Burt. He gone. Not going to catch him. John Burt, the track star, 65 yards, 4-6.
And here's what happens when you've got a guy like John Burt, who's a world-class premier sprinter, and on the opposite side, a guy like Colin Johnson or Money Foreman. Now you're blowing off the top of this defense and the predicament that you put this safety in. Watch him here in the middle of the field. Almost impossible to get outside of those numbers. But when you've got two major threats on the outside and a quarterback who's this accurate and this aware on the inside, really following through with that throw, those are the types of plays that makes this entire staff and this program feel like something's changing here on 40 Acres.
Burt didn't break stride. I would assume that means that ball was put on the money.
I would agree.
Shane Buechele, extremely impressive in his debut in front of the Texas faithful. 55 snaps, some with the first, some with the second team offense. He's targeted 11 different receivers. 5 of those completions of at least 20 yards. The big plays,
wow.
Something everybody wants to see from this Texas offense. Jane, what else can you tell us about Shane Buechele?
Well, if the early enrollee had any nerves today for his first game here inside DKR, you wouldn't know it. Leading up to this game, he showed a lot of maturity. Before he even stepped foot on the 40 Acres, I'm told that he reached out to Sterling Gilbert's former quarterback, Dane Evans at Tulsa. He wanted to pick his brain about Gilbert's offense and the way that this game is run. You know, Gilbert said he didn't really have any idea what Shane Buechele brought to the football field. He started to work with him, and he said after working with him, he reminds him so much of Dane Evans, his former quarterback. He said they both love to study film, they have a strong work ethic, and they just have a high football IQ, which you're seeing some of that today, guys.
And Jan mentioned just his composure. Vance Bedford brought up to us. He's used to the spotlight. His pops played in the major leagues. Steve Buechele is now the bench coach for the Texas Rangers. His brother played baseball at Oklahoma. And the thing I love that Bedford pointed out, he's also the youngest of 5 kids, and the youngest seems to soak up the most.
Couldn't agree more. And I think also, when you look at him, what I've been most impressed about is his ability to work his teammates. You know, and sometimes when you're the starting quarterback at the University of Texas with all the scrutiny and the praise and pressure that comes along with this job, you can forget about the other 10 guys that help you. But he seems like a player who's incorporating all of his teammates. And, I mean, the skill is there for this young man to really be a bright star for the University of Texas offense for years to come.
Yeah, he's not apologizing about being in the
Why
mix
would he?
to start as a true freshman. Tim Yoder, some well-deserved carries, also spreading it out a little bit more with Trenton Hafley, excuse me, getting the carry as well. It's a shining moment. I'll make sure you get the name right. Jump ball, and John Bonney with the interception. So intended for Colin Johnson. Holton Hill went up to contest. And John Bonney, Johnny on the spot, and the right place for the INT.
Great coverage here from Holton Hill. Perfect position. I mean, just gets right into the wide receiver's chest as he's trying to catch that ball. And one of the things when you talk about Colin Johnson, with that large frame and his ability to be able to leap over guys, he's got to have that body control that's necessary to keep defenders at bay. And he's shown that throughout the course of spring. But that was a challenge for him, and it will be throughout the course of his career because he's so tall. Great job there of John Bonney being in the right position and scooping up that play. And for the defense, getting off the field and putting your offense right back out here.
John Bonney with the INT that goes down is Swoop's second interception of the game. Although that first one, if they would have reviewed it, probably would have been overturned.
Yes.
And DeAndre McNeil did make a play on that ball, and it looks like he simply lost it. Sometimes that box score can be deceiving, and there is Brecken Hager. You'll remember that name if you follow this Texas program. His pops, one of the all-time greats, all-time leading tackler here at the University of Texas. I love the way that Vince Bedford sums up his game. Says he plays like he's running out of a burning house on fire himself. Hot Rod Bernard taking the big hit, knocked loose by Deshaun Elliott. Quincy Vasher picking it up until he's forced out of bounds by Andrew Beck. That's some of that pop you were looking for.
100%. Great burst here from Bernard. But Elliott is making a name for himself. The last player to wear number 4 around here was Kenny Vaccaro.
Yeah.
And we were used to seeing him make those types of plays. Vance Bedford says that this guy is like the sheriff in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
You don't want to come across here and know that number 4, Deshaun Elliott, is waiting on you because, look, he's out and he's got bad intentions. This guy wants to rip your head off. And he plays with that type of focus and intensity, and they're showing it there with a big hit as Bernard was turned around. And once again, another turnover for this defense if this play holds up.
Would be takeaway number 3 for the Texas defense. A couple of interceptions.
Watch how he explodes through this hit. You see that? He used his legs, he used his arms. Everything was moving in the direction he was trying to take the ball carrier. Yeah, he didn't wrap up, but he knew that he had a kill shot, and he used it.
So it's ruled a fumble. Not reviewing things in the spring game. Quincy Vasser is okay with that. Got him an opportunity to carry the ball.
And he's stylish. He's a DB, yeah, with the blonde streak in the middle of his hair. And it's Deshaun Elliott.
Where's your blonde streak?
Left that at home.
Nice move from Johnson to get it close to the first down marker. Let's go down to Emmanuel Acho.
Coach, the defense giving up some yards but making some plays. You happy with what you're seeing so far?
Well, a lot of the yards have been just lone throws, and we got to play the ball better. But, you know, we're creating turnovers, and we are making plays.
And he's getting right into it. It's a hard job being down there trying to interview a coach in the middle of a game. It doesn't matter if the game counts or not.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's what coaches do.
And you can see there the rain starting to come down. A few players were slipping, working on their footing. And here's something as you're watching Shane Buechele. Here's another something to throw in the mix. I know people here watching don't really want to see the rain, but if you're Sterling Gilbert, you get a chance to see your quarterback throwing a heavy and a wet ball, something that'll go a long way and determine if this young man's ready for his role.
Last time Omenihu came off the edge, Buechele was able to slip out of it. Not this time around as Charles Omenihu, the sophomore, registers the sack. So off that edge, a more traditional defensive end spot, looking at Charles Omenihu and Quincy Vasser getting most of the carries in this game. Bryce Cottrell is also going to be a factor there, but he is injured, not taking place in this game as Jefferson puts down a little hurt.
Every time I sit down and talk to Malik Jefferson, it's hard not to understand that this kid is going to leave a legacy here. From the way that he handles himself, to the way that he motivates his teammates, to how hard he works in practice. When you talk about legendary guys, we're about to have Ricky Williams join us. I mean, when you work with that type of intensity, it's hard not to have success at a place like this with the stage so big.
Houdiniak to Colin Johnson. Looked like he was going to go up and get that, but Vaccaro exchanging words. Edwards able to help at least get that pass broken up.
I've seen him drop more balls today, Colin Johnson I'm referring to, than I've seen him drop all spring.
Yeah, that's
and
been
it
a
just goes to
touchdown.
show you how consistent he's been. He's caught this ball time and time again, and that's why when you're dealing with a freshman, especially a mid-year freshman, like Colin Johnson is, you never know what to expect. So this is why this is good for him. Will this kid be a star around here one day? Absolutely. He's got all the skill set. He's got the pedigree. He's got the work ethic. So it's just a matter of time, but his first time here in DKR with people here hasn't been the greatest showing for him today.
Good pressure also from the Texas defensive line in that drive. Able to flush young Shane Buechele a couple of times. 51 seconds left in the first half. You can see the umbrellas coming out. People getting a head start on halftime. Heading to the concourse. Get some nachos and maybe a hot dog. That ball batted down. Quincy Vassar with the swat. Second half, it's going to be a running clock, so the pace will pick up. And not a traditional halftime. Players will stay on the field. Take a 10-minute break. And they will resume action for the second half. Also hear from Sterling Gilbert, the new OC. He's going to catch up with James Slater. Bernard out on the edge. Vassar continues his pursuit. Sherrod Evans also there with the initial contact. Offense started a little slow the first few drives, but more than picking up the pace, it has picked up the efficiency. Nice cutback from Bernard.
And we've talked about Buechele's ability to throw the football today, but when you have these package plays, meaning if it can be a run or a pass, great decision making there to hand the ball off to Bernard. And you see him here once again getting into the play action. Really confusing for that defense when you're seeing it from downfield.
Foreman with the catch, getting out of bounds. 14 seconds on the clock. Critical 14 seconds here. You're not going to get a lot of moments like this to really replicate a situation like this as we get closer to the fall.
2 minute. Every quarterback wants to be good in this situation.
Buechele's going to keep it, coughs it up. Whistle's blowing. And Buechele helped up. Going to get on out of here after that play. Smokey blows. We've reached the end of the first half. See Brandon Hodges saying, we got you. We got you. Keep going. Shane Buechele has been the standout really, Ahmad, here in the first half. 21 of 38, 279 yards in 2 touchdowns. Has not looked like a true freshman.
No. And I think when you go out to practice, that's the first thing that stands out. He's doing it against a secondary that has a lot of talent back there and playmakers. And he's been able to make ground in terms of the competition, for sure.
Now let's hear from the OC, Sterling Gilbert, who's standing by with Jay.
Well, Coach, it was the first opportunity for fans to see this offense in motion. What did you think of the play from your guys?
You know, we definitely still got the new car smell. You know, we've still got some things to figure out. We still got a long ways to go. It's about progression with us. We've hit it at times. We're just inconsistent right now. We've got to clean up. We've hurt ourselves with some penalties, false starts and things like that. We just got to continue to be consistent, and guys just got to make plays.
What do you think of the play of Shane Buechele finding the end zone multiple times today?
He's done a good job, you know, and he's done a good job throwing the ball with accuracy and, you know, taking advantage of looks that he's had in the back end.
What do you want to see them clean up here in a bit?
Just the penalties is really it, and just use our fundamentals and techniques that we've coached over the last, 14 practices. So we just need to clean up, be sharper, and, be consistent.
Appreciate your time, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Jane, thank you so much. The rain coming down, but so are the points for the Texas offense. They have found their rhythm even in the elements. John Burt making up for the early drop. He's back. The defense trying to flex their muscle as well. Tough to do with bruisers like that. We'll talk about Gilbert, his relationship with his O-line coach when we return. Orange and white spring game presented by Weber Grill. Sterling Gilbert has a great O-line coach that he has a great relationship with, Matt Maddox. It goes back when these guys really hit the college level at Eastern Illinois. They've been together every stop since then.
We were not a consistent team week in and week out. We know we have to improve and we have to get better. And this week I made some changes on offense. And I would like to introduce our new additions to our coaching staff. Unbelievable coaches. You know, two guys that have worked together, worked at a lot of different places. Our offensive coordinator and Sterling Gilbert, and our run game coordinator will be Mac Maddox.
I mean, we're close. Obviously, I'm very close with his family. You know, it goes back to our days at the University of Houston when we were both GA in there. So, yeah, I mean, we're tied, if that's what you want to know.
Obviously, he's been a big part of my family, and my girls love seeing him come over. And, you know, we'll make some sausage here and there every now and again and get after it, put some meat on the smoker and have a good time.
Load up and go. Hips. Good. Here we go. Here we go. Now we're rolling it. Now we're rolling it. Here we go. Hips all the way through on the punt. Go punt, hips, roll through. Good. Here we go. Bounce up. Let's go. Bounce up. Next group's up. In and out. Be violent on the finish. Be violent.
Everybody's rolling. See ya. I'll beat you. Good. Flat, fast seat up. Atta baby, atta baby, atta baby. Ball. Be fast with your feet. Good, Swoopsy. Be fast with your feet. Ball. Good, 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 good.
Up tempo. I mean, we kind of base out of the spread, but we also run the football. Fast, physical, we'll have fun, and score points.
We lean on some power schemes, gap schemes, some zone schemes. You know, I had a coach one time tell me that we're going to run a play and it's going to be called mama. You know, when all else fails and you don't know what to do, your girl breaks up with you, you go home and you call mama. And that's going to be power. We're going to run it. We're going to be physical in whatever we do, whether it's run or pass block.
It's kind of like grandma's pie, you know, she just puts it together and then, you know, and it tastes good. You know, that's kind of how it happens. There's not really a set-up recipe for it. You just kind of start installing and putting and trying to put the pieces together with personnel and, you know, seeing where guys fit.
When we come back, we've got the first half highlights. We're going to look at the key stats. But right now, we're going to stay dry up here in the press box. We'll be right back here from Austin and the Orange and White Spring Game presented by Weber Grills. Welcome back to a rainy DKR Texas Memorial Stadium as we are approaching what we hope is the second half of the Orange and White Spring Game presented by Weber Grills. Texas up 21-7 over Team Longhorns. Logan Lindo back here with Ahmad Brooks. What do you think so far of what you've seen?
Well, I think it started off sloppy, but you saw there were some big plays that were made offensively, and I think everybody here wanted to come see this new high-powered offense behind Sterling Gilbert, and you were able to see these running backs get going. You were able to see big plays, explosive plays down the field. If I'm looking at this team as a product after the first half, I say I've seen improvement, and that's all, as a fan, as an analyst, that's all you're looking for.
But the guy that's making this offense go right now is pretty much the guy you would least expect because of experience. And even Gilbert says experience in his office is invaluable. But it is Shane Buechele that's really the trigger man behind this offense. And he is the most dependable player of the game, powered by Chevy Silverado.
He's the catalyst right now. And I think you're starting to see what the coaching staff and the players have seen all spring long. He's an accurate passer. He's competent enough to be a manager in this offense and hand the ball off to two all-conference caliber running backs, and not to mention the skill on the outside, being able to find those big targets like John Burt, just a beautifully thrown ball there to beat Sherrod Evans. But this young man is special, and I think he's starting to get more comfortable as he becomes a Texas Longhorn for real on Sunday versus Notre Dame.
Well, scrambled, took a big shot. He's been under duress. We've seen him spin out of pressure, just finding ways to make plays. And that brings us to our turning point, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And they're going places extremely fast, Ahmad.
I love that, you know, and then the defenses don't like it as much, but it means that this offense has an understanding. They're able to get set, get back up on the ball, and put the pressure back on the defense. I like the philosophy, and I think it's going to go a long way in changing the way this offense has played over the last several years.
The rain still coming down. Second half coming up. Ricky Williams just hanging out, being quiet. Maybe we'll get him to talk when we come back on Longhorn Network. You're watching the Orange and White Spring Game presented by Weber Grills. And it is over. Had a good first half. The weather has picked up, so Coach Strong and his staff has made the decision to end the game right here. Here's Jane Slater with the head coach, Charlie Strong.
Obviously, Coach is busy down here. Coach, you decided to go ahead and call this one. Why?
Well, I'm more concerned about the safety of our players, and we're just so limited right now. We're going to have to come back to second half and just play the same group. And I just want the conditions to continue the way they are and just making sure that we can get out of here healthy.
Considering the weather conditions heading into this one, we thought it could have been a complete rain out. We were able to get a first half in. What did you think about the play from both your offense and your defense?
Well, just offensively, we were able to get some long throws. We made some catches, and we dropped some. Look at the two quarterbacks. Bouchel played really well today. And then defensively, we were able to make some plays and stop them. And that's what you want to see. You saw competition on both sides, and both sides really competing.
You know, ahead of this, you said you wouldn't be afraid of starting a freshman. Did Shane do anything to help his cause in this game?
Well, you look at today, he had a really good day, and, the competition, Swoops has had his days, but today Shane really played well.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Thanks. Guys, back to you.
Jen, thank you so much. So the decision is made. The game ends here. Promise you, Ricky Williams, he's on his way back to the Longhorn Network studios because he has to do Texas Game Day Final, which is coming up in just a bit. We'll have more. Don't look so sad. We got more coverage coming up.
Football on Longhorn Network is presented by Weber Grills. For more information on the new Weber Q1200 College Edition Texas Longhorn Gas Grill, visit weber.com/QU. And in part by Chevy Silverado, official truck of the Texas Longhorns.
Well, the showman is out, putting the horns up, and the Texas players have made their way back out from the locker room to take part in the Eyes of Texas. And how beautiful is this? The sun, for the first time, comes peeking out of the clouds when they finish the Eyes of Texas. That's a beautiful moment.
That's
right
fitting.
there. Beautiful moment here in Austin, Texas. Lo Galindo back here with Ahmad Brooks. We want to see what this Texas offense is all about. We want to see the young quarterback Shane Bouchel and Tyrone Swoops, how they would handle it. But one thing became pretty clear. This offense is going to be driven by their two beast mode running backs in Chris Warren III and Deontay Foreman.
You'd be silly not to have these two guys anchor your offense. And it's going to start with two dynamic backs that really have power to take over a game. And they're so difficult to tackle with solo tackles. You need team defense. And you see it here as they just continue to grind it out and churn those legs for the play of the game presented by Weber Grills. And these are the players of the game. And they should be the players of every game, Lo, if you ask me, because with Warren and Foreman in the backfield, Big 12, look for Texas to make the biggest leap in terms of standings because of the production that I think these guys can have if they're healthy and get a full season together.
Makes it that much easier on a freshman quarterback like Shane Bouchel if ultimately he is the guy. Look at that.
What do you say to that?
101, 7 carries.
Oh, boy.
I mean, Foreman came 5 carries shy last year of qualifying to be up in the rankings for yards per carry nationally. If he would have gotten those 5 carries, he would have been number 4 on that list. So Foreman and Warren III, they're going to make some headaches for opposing defenses all around the Big 12. For now, the game has been called early because of the weather, but I think Texas fans will walk out of this stadium feeling pretty good because of what they saw from that man's young quarterback, Shane Bouchel.
Indeed.
All smiles. Now it's time for the fall. Bring on Notre Dame. For Ahmad Brooks, I'm Lo Galindo. Thanks for watching. Texas Game Day Final coming up with my man, Alex Lowe.